Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This one is the one where we make a really long video on tier lists. A lot of people have been asking us for this video, so now we're gonna do it. When I say now, I mean like in 3 weeks when the video is edited, because it takes a lot of work to make a video like this. So definitely watch to the end. We'll have a lot of people with different opinions, so let's get started. I guess since I'm sitting here, I'm gonna begin. I think the way the cubes were arranged and selected were cubes that are more modern leaning, that are more typically used in competitions. I think that's kind of the criteria for picking them. So I think I'm gonna go at it from the angle of, if I were to buy it at a store at retail price, how happy would I be competing with the cube? So this is for more competition leaning cubers that expect some utility out of their puzzle. So for me, if I bought this at full price, how likely am I going to use it for a competition, and how happy would I be with the results? And I have experience with all these puzzles. So number one on the list here is the GAN 12. So I have the GAN 12 right here. I mean, it has adjustable magnets. The price is kind of high, but the cube delivers. I don't know how many championships this cube has won. You know, it's a lot. This is definitely a cube that gives results. So this gets an S from me. It has demonstrated time and time again that it can win major championships and deliver benefit to cubers at a lot of different skill levels. Okay, so next is the GAN 15. For me, it's a pretty comfortable cube. I don't think it's objectively and measurably better than the GAN 12, but it's also not worse. It just feels like a different expression of GAN design. But yeah, I'm just not convinced that this is an S tier cube. I would go in between A and B, but I think it's more of a B tier cube for me. The next one is the Guhong Pro. So the Guhong Pro surprises a lot of people. It's very solid, no nonsense. I like how it has glossy plastic. Dian has been known to make some pretty good cubes, also some pretty bad cubes, and this falls into the good category. So I think I'm gonna make that an A tier cube. I think if I bought this, I wouldn't be upset with it because I know what I paid for it and it's not expensive. Next is the Huameng TG. It looks like a GAN cube. Oh, here it is. Honestly, it's gonna sound kind of mean, but I don't believe this cube should exist. I'm sure someone at Moyu is like, wow, Phil's a moron. But personally, I don't care for this at all. Like it doesn't help me in any way. I don't get good times on it. It's very expensive. I'm not a fan. Sorry, it's a D tier cube for me. Next is the Hudong. I see Steven looked up at me.
S tier.
With the Hudong. Shut up, Steven. Okay, so this cube kind of came out from the middle of nowhere, and it's honestly, it's not bad for what it is, and the price is extremely reasonable. It's not full of itself. As a product, I really like it. As a competition speed cube, not my main. So I think the Hudong's gonna get an A for me. Yeah, very modestly priced. You get what you pay for, plus a little more. All right, the next is the RS3 V5. We're talking about this one with the UV coating and ball core. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna even say anything about this. This is an S tier cube. Like, for what you pay, like $25 retail, you're getting useful features, UV coating, and a cube that's just phenomenal. People get world-class times on this. I think the only problem is that it is brittle if it's dropped. I can see this one has been dropped. I think that's, yeah, maybe something Moyu can look into in the future, but performance-wise, this cube is just phenomenal. I think this is easily an S tier cube. All right, Super WeiLong V2. Here we go. I love this cube. The only thing that's stopping me from recommending it left and right to everybody I see is the fact that it's $80 retail. Like, I don't think that makes any sense because it's substantially similar to pre-existing cubes. So I don't expect the cost of design or production to be that substantial. It's just too similar to be this expensive. You know, I think if they had engineered something entirely different, $80 fine. But this is just, I think it's a V10 that's a little more polished and a little better, which I really appreciate, but it's just like, I can't put this S tier because of the price. I think it has S tier performance. I think this is the best cube on the market, at least for me. But yeah, this is gonna get an A for me. I don't think I'll ever give it an S until Moyu drops the price, but I'm sure Moyu is not like holed up in their boardroom being like, guys, we really need to drop the price so it's in Cubicle's S tier. Maybe they won't change it, but I just think this is not reasonably priced, but it's an amazing cube. Tornado V3. So the Tornado V3 it's a classic, pretty good cube. It's becoming a little outdated, but still It's a very comfortable cube. It's the Yo Cube as of the time of this video. I can't really say too much about it other than it was a very good cube, and it's still kind of solid, but it doesn't excite me because it doesn't have as much character anymore because of everything else that's been released. So it's gonna get a B for me. Tornado V4. So I like how more tactile it is than the V3. And I think they fixed some of the quality of life issues. And so this one is just basically a slightly better version of the V3. It's not like a completely different cube. I think this one gets an A, but like on the low end. All right, the next is the V10 Ferro Core. So again, extremely biased. I helped make this cube. But because I helped make this cube, I tried my very best to make it the best possible cube given what I understand about cubes. So I don't feel so bad about giving this high marks because it is an expression of what I think a good cube is. And it's not crazy expensive. I know it's $40. It's more than a normal V10, but $40 for a high-end cube that has new parts and is custom made isn't crazy. So yeah, for now, I'm gonna put it the high end of the A tier. I think the cube is kind of an acquired taste, but it just suits my taste because I helped make it. WeiLong V10. That's not the WeiLong V10. This is the WeiLong V10. I love the WeiLong V10. It's one of my favorite cubes. And the spring version is also $32 retail, which really isn't bad considering the V9 was more expensive. This has all the tech I care about. It's very no nonsense. I really respect Moyu for making a cube like this. Big fan. This is an S tier cube. WeiLong V9. So this is the 20 magnet bong core. I intentionally said bong. Yeah, it's a good cube. It's just like showing its age a little bit. So WeiLong V9, still a good cube. I think this gets an A for me. So the next cube in our diminishing list is the XT3. That's got to be this one. So this is kind of a cheaper Tornado V4, which is really nice. It's very light. I think this cube is better on paper than it is in like practice for me. I think this is a B tier cube for me. Okay, Zhanchi V5. So cool cube, like interesting feeling. I like the multiple colors for the internals, but I don't get really good results on this, and I can't see myself buying it and expecting myself to do well and be happy at a competition. The price isn't crazy, but this cube ain't it for me. I can't get behind this cube too much, personally. That one is gonna be like, it's like in between B and C, and then this is the last cube. We don't have product images for this because it's unreleased product, but we know that it's gonna be relatively inexpensive. This is great. This is the new YJ. We didn't even include the Apari and the EST on this tier list video because those would be like, at least in my opinion, easily F tier cubes. Like I think they're just trash, right? But this cube is really good. I don't think it's the best cube on the market, but it's pretty good. And for the price, definitely something to watch out for. So I think this is going to be on the top of A tier or the bottom of S. I think it still needs time on the market to kind of develop, so I'm going to put it on A tier. Okay, so let's review here. We have S, so I think the GAN 12 I'm going to put at the bottom of S. I'm going to put this one at the top with the Ferro core. This one's pretty up here. Oh no, the Hudong has to be better than the Guhong Pro or I'll get murdered if I turn my back on Steven. And then GAN 15 TV3 XT3, this is okay, this makes sense. You know what, I'm gonna bump it. Bumping it. Okay, I bumped it. I don't think that there are any cubes that are just complete failures, so I didn't put any in F tier, but yeah, that's my tier list. I think most of the cubes are A tier, and honestly, when people say, oh yeah, Moyu's like, why are they so dumb? They're making so many cubes. Like, besides the Huameng TG, I actually think really highly of Moyu cubes. Like, they're either A tier or S tier. Like, Moyu makes really good cubes. So in that department, I'm going to give them a pass on making so many cubes. I actually really appreciate more cubes from Moyu. For every like one bad Huameng TG there is, in my opinion, there's like 5 good cubes. Yeah, never stop Moyu. Always make cubes. But maybe make your super cheaper. That would be an S tier cube. Okay, so this is my tier list. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely keep watching on, see what my friends here at TheCubicle think of the cubes.
Okay, so I feel like Phil's tier list was fairly objective, so mine is going to be more based on what I like. I'll start with the GAN 12. This is a very good cube. I like it, but it's a little too blocky for me. For a GaNCube, I think it's priced pretty well, so I'm not gonna move it down too far, but this is a B tier cube for me. I would probably not use it. Okay, so next is the GaN 15. I actually like this one a bit more than the 12. It's more expensive, which is unfortunate, but it's less than the 12 was at launch, so I'm hopeful that it'll come down eventually. I definitely like the spring version better because it's more controllable, but either way, I like this. If I were to use a GaNCube, it would be the 15, so I will go A tier. Alright, next is the Guhong Pro. This is just a cube. It doesn't do anything wrong. It's pretty good. It's pretty cheap. It wouldn't be my choice, and I don't think it would be the best cube for anyone, but it's a good cube for almost everyone, which makes it easy to recommend. I also like that it's available in several different sizes, so if someone has small hands or wants to use it for OH, it's a good option for that. So I'm gonna probably put it near the bottom of A tier. Okay, next is the Huamong TG. I've never been a big fan of this cube. It's kind of expensive for what it is. I don't think it's great, and it's also really blocky and kind of heavy, and it has too much momentum, although I think this is a spring version, which I haven't used much, and it feels better than the maglev. It's cool that it has so many adjustment features, but I think they went overboard. Pretty sure this has over 1,500 combinations, and that's just unnecessary. It's only really a usable cube on the loosest setting for both tension and compression, so I think the range is kind of bad on that. Overall, just a very disappointing cube, especially since I mained the YS3 for a long time. So this is going to be C tier. Next is the Hudong, which, as all of you probably know, I like this cube a lot. Although in its out-of-the-box state, I don't think I would use it at this point because so many other good cubes have come out since then. I still really like my LBL modded Hudong. It's still one of my mains. Out of the box, I'd give it probably between A and B. Modded, I would give it S, so I'm gonna put it in A. Next is the RS3V5. So this is objectively a very good cube, but I have never liked it. I think it feels cheap. I just don't like the performance. It has like a weird combination of flexibility and blockiness, but it does have really good features for the price. And again, objectively, it's a good cube. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. Next is the Super WeiLong V2, which, as we all know, is an extremely expensive cube, but it's also a very good one. I was getting good times even on the stock version, although it's a bit blockier than I would like. I actually made a Ferrocore Super V2, which I've been testing a lot, and I think I like that one a bit better, but as a base cube, I'm probably going to put it between A and B. I'll knock it down to B for now because of the price, but I wouldn't be surprised if it moves back up. Next is the Tornado V3. I really tried to like this cube when it came out. I used it as my main for a while, but I don't think I was ever fully happy with it. And it just doesn't have much character. The turns are extremely smooth, but there's not much feedback. It also has a lot of quality control issues. Twisting corners will adjust the magnets. There's a bunch of different ways that you can break it. I know a lot of people have gotten great results with it, and a lot of people love it, but it's just not for me, and I'm going to put it in C tier. Next is the Tornado V4. I was very critical of this cube when it came out because it was so similar to the V3, but after understanding the difference is better, it's grown on me a little bit, although I'm still not a fan. It's kind of a weird combination of being blocky and flexible, which just makes it confusing to me and it doesn't fit my turning. They did fix some of the ways that it can break, so that's nice, but I don't think I can put it any higher than B. Next is the Ferrocore, and I like this cube a lot. It's basically a more flexible V10 with matte plastic and a more durable core. When the V10 came out, I made something very similar to this, just because I wanted to use it with springs, and I didn't have springs that fit the old adjustment system. So this cube, I don't want to say is based on my cube, but they're pretty similar, and I like it a lot because it's pretty close to the ideal V10 that I created when it came out. I also like that this one's matte plastic. I'm not a fan of UV at all. I think this is the best V10 for me, and I think it will be for a lot of people as well. So because of all of that, this is going in S tier. Next is the normal V10, and this cube is pretty good, but I've never liked it that much. When it came out, I thought I liked it a lot, but that's because the one I made was essentially a ferrocore and I didn't understand how different it actually was to the stock one. So when I tried an actual stock one, I was like, wait, this is weird. I don't like this. It's way too blocky. Newer batches are better because they switch to a looser tension range. The way that the V10 is currently, I'd probably put it low A, but as it came out originally, it would be B or C. Since it is how it is now, I'm going to put it in A, but a bit hesitantly. Okay, so next is the WeiLong V9. This is the 20 magnet version, which I think is the best version. This cube kind of reminds me of a tornado, but it fits my turning a lot better. It still has the issue where it's both flexible and blocky at the same time, but it has a lot more feedback in the turns and I enjoy using it a lot more. This wouldn't be my main, but it's a very good cube and I'm going to put it in high B tier. Next is the XT3. I like the idea of this cube because it's a stripped down tornado that should be a lot more durable because it gets rid of a lot of the adjustment features, which are the things that break on tornadoes. So if I were going to use a Chi cube, it would probably be this one just because I trust it a bit more than tornadoes, but it is still a Chi cube and I still don't really like it. So this is going to go in B. Okay, next is the Zhanchi V5. This is a really cool cube, but it's not a particularly good cube. They introduced a lot of novel features. This isn't the top version, but the top version has those center cap magnets. I don't think they work super well, but they do something. I just don't like what they do, but I'm glad they tried it. I think it's a cool cube. You should get one if you want to experience that feature, but I don't think it's main worthy for most people, and it's kind of expensive as an experiment, so I'm going to put it in C tier. And finally, we have this unreleased YJ cube. I know it's going to be an MGC, but I don't know what it'll be called, but that doesn't matter anyway. It's a great cube. I think this feels like a better RS3 V5. It has similar performance characteristics, including the balance between stability and flexibility, but I like the feel of this one a lot better. It feels like it has nicer plastic, smoother turning. It comes with repelling edge magnets, which I took out because I thought it made it too uncontrollable, but even with those magnets, I would put it in A. As it is now, probably high A or low S. I really like this cube, and it's going to be pretty cheap, so very easy to recommend. So looking at this now, I'll probably put the V9 at the front of B tier because I do like it. I think I am going to move the Super V2 up to A. It's very expensive and I'm hesitant to recommend it, but it is an excellent cube. There's a very good chance that I will be using my ferrocore Super V2 as my main. I think I'm actually going to move the GAN 15 down to B because I still don't really like it, but I do like it better than the 12. Hudong is going to go in the front of A. I think I'm actually going to move the YJ to the front of A, followed very closely by the Hudong, and then ferrocore is the only one in S tier. I think I like the Super V2 more, but it's just so expensive that I can't move it to S. Yeah, this is my list. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I hope this was helpful and enjoy the rest of the video.
Hey guys, what's up? It's time for another tier list, so let's get started. GAN 12. So GAN 12 is still like one of my mains. I actually really like the 12. Definitely the best GAN cube, I think. I don't want to immediately start with S. I'm just going to throw it in A, and we will see where it ends up at the end. GAN 15. GAN 15 is definitely a solid cube. I was never a huge fan of it. I always found it to be too locky and just too loose and flexible. The spring mounted one definitely fixed some of those issues, I think, but I still definitely prefer the 12 over this. So I'm gonna go B tier. Guang Pro, here we go. Yeah, the Guang Pro is a cool cube. Like, Dian cubes still kind of feel like old Dian cubes. Like, they haven't really changed the way their cubes feel that drastically, which I kind of like. I just think it's cool having a like modern cube that still really reminds me of what cubes felt like 15 years ago when I started. So I really appreciate this cube, and it's really good for the price, but I think there are a lot of newer cubes that just outclass this completely. So I'm gonna stick it in B tier. All right, TG, WeiLong TG. So I think I'm the outlier in the office that actually kind of liked this cube, and I still kind of like it. It's like really weighty. It's got a lot of momentum to it. It's a heavy cube, and there's something about that I like. I wouldn't recommend it though. I think most people probably wouldn't like this cube, but I have some friends that really do enjoy it. I think there are some people that will like it, but it's hard to recommend. It's kind of a weird cube. Yeah, I think I'm just here in this video so that everyone doesn't completely trash on this cube, but I don't know, I might still give it like C tier. Like, I like it, but there's so many other good cubes. I'm just gonna put it at bottom of B. Hudong. Hudong. So yeah, Hudong is not a cube that I could ever really get into. Even Steven's really nicely modded one, I always just preferred other cubes. And even more so, the out-of-the-box ones I don't think are all that great. And this is kind of a deep cut. I don't know if you guys remember the Dianma, but there's something about this cube that reminds me of the Moyu Dianma.
Is it the round centers?
It's the round centers, and there's just something about it that makes it feel like the inner layers are thinner than the outer layers. I don't know what it is. I know they're the same. It just feels that way to me. I don't know. Maybe there's like one person out there that understands what I'm talking about, but maybe not. I'm gonna have to go C tier with the Hudong. Okay, RS3V5. So when the RS3V5 first came out, I loved it and I mained it pretty much. Like I used it a lot. As time has gone on, my opinion of it has kind of dropped a bit. I don't know, it feels kind of cheap to me now. For the price, it is really good. I just think that something about it feels a little clacky to me, and it does break pretty easily. I do really enjoy this cube. I still solve on it, but I don't think it's as good as I thought it was when it first released. So I think I'm gonna go B tier. I know it's kind of low. I might move that up. Actually, yeah, no. I like it more than everything else in B tier, so it's gonna go in A. So then Super V2. So this is the one that I kind of have like the least experience with. But just right away, I can tell that it's a really good cube, and I really like turning it. It feels really good. I wish it wasn't so expensive, but there's been other $80 cubes before that I think are like not worth it at all, but this one is like, it's getting there to where it might be worth it. If you spend that money, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a really nice cube that you're gonna like. Like, I think most cubers will like the way this cube feels and the way it performs. So maybe my opinion on this will change if I use it more, but for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in A. All right, Tornado V3. So Tornado V3 is also, this is kind of an older cube at this point. This is from what, 2022? I loved this cube when it came out. I got a prototype of this before it came out and I was so excited to use it. It was like my favorite cube ever. But I think as time has gone on, the problems with this cube have just become really apparent, really glaring. And it's also just kind of feels a little boring. Like, it's a consistent cube and you get consistent results with it, but there's nothing about it that's that exciting anymore, which is kind of sad because I really loved this cube when it first came out. I think at this point now, with everything else that's out, the V3 goes in C tier. So then the V4. And yeah, the V4 is like really close to the V3. I think they're like 95% the same cube. But I would definitely take a V4 any day over a V3. I think it's a bit faster. It feels a little lighter and like the turning feels tighter. It's a good cube and it's not that expensive. So I'm gonna put it above the V3. I think it goes in B tier. Okay, so the Ferrocore. Yeah, Ferrocore, definitely solid. I am like, we'll get to this in a second, but I'm not a huge fan of the V10, but this is like a pretty solid improvement over the base V10. Like, it really feels a lot more stable to me, and just the turns have more substance to it. I don't know, something about it that just feels way more satisfying to turn. We will also put that in A tier. Nothing in S so far. We'll see, I might rearrange things. So now just the base V10 here. Base V10, I'm not a fan of. It doesn't really fit with my turning style. I don't know. It's too loose and fast and like feels a little too squishy or something. I don't know. Even with lube and stuff, it's not my favorite. It feels strangely cheap, which is interesting because the Ferrocore doesn't. It doesn't have that feeling, but there's something about the way this turns that just I don't like. So I think I'm gonna go all the way down to C tier for the V10. The V9, however, I love. This is the 20 magnet ball core version. I mained the 8 magnet ball core version, which has really, really strong magnets. I don't really recommend that one. So I think like if you want a good out of the box V9, the 20 magnet ball core one is the way to go. And for me, this is pretty close to a perfect cube. I have pretty aggressive turning and I like how kind of flexible this cube is. And I don't know, it just like corner cuts really well and it can take very aggressive turning like pretty well. It doesn't really lock up much. This cube does have a bit of a corner twisting issue, which is a bit annoying. But overall, I love the cube. I've mained it for a long time, pretty much since it came out. And I think this is S tier for me. This is like one of my favorite cubes ever. All right, XT3. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the XT3 that feels so cheap, but this cube just kind of feels terrible to me. It has like the exact same piece design as the Tornadoes, but to me at least, it feels nothing like the Tornadoes. Like it feels way, way worse. I don't think it like completely sucks though, so I'm just gonna go D. I don't think I can quite put it in F. So then the Zhanchi V5. So the Zhanchi V5 is not a bad cube. It's got like some cool customization stuff going on. It's got, you know, kind of an interesting feel, but for me, it doesn't do much. Like, I don't know. It's just not that exciting of a cube for me to solve on. But it's not bad. It's definitely, I don't think it's as good as the Guhong Pro though. So I think I'm gonna go C tier. And then the Mystery 3x3. Yeah, this is a solid cube. Just turning it right now kind of reminds me of the Ferrocore V10, honestly, just a bit. But for right now, just with the limited experience I've had with it, it seems solid. It's definitely not like the best cube ever. I think I'm just gonna play it safe and put it like somewhere in B tier. Now that we've gone through all the cubes, let me look at this list again and see. I think I'm definitely gonna move the 12 to S, but below the WeiLong V9. For B tier, I'm just gonna rearrange a little bit. I think it should be 15, then V4. I might actually bump this Mystery up a bit. It's pretty good. For A tier, I'm gonna put the V5 at the bottom of A tier. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that distribution. We'll leave it there. Anyway, that's the tier list, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Hey guys, Damian here. So let's see what an old guy thinks about these new speed cubes. All right, so the GAN 12, I mean, I don't even really have to turn it to know that this is an A or an S tier cube. I think the only reason I might put it as an A is because it's getting so old, and in my opinion, there are better options. So I'll give this an A. All right, so now what I consider to be their next 3x3 after the GAN 12 is the 15. And I love this cube. I love the weight. It made me realize how heavy of a turner I was when we first got it, and I used it for a long time, and then when I would go back to other cubes, they just felt like weights. I think the GAN 15 is an easy S tier, and I put the 12 in S, I'm sorry. Undone. All right, so now moving along, Guhong Pro. So this cube has one thing going for it above, I believe, all of the rest of these, except for maybe one, and that is price. Yeah, this is a great cube. I think if you're looking for a puzzle and you don't want to spend 30, 40, I guess 80 nowadays on a good 3x3, this could get you to sub 10 without any hesitation. It's a great puzzle. I don't think it's as good as the 12 or the 15 objectively, but with price, it's close. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. So now we've got the Huameng TG. This puzzle confused me so much when we got it. I don't think it turns bad. I don't think there are objectively bad features on it. I just don't really like it. Something about the turning and the weight of the turning, the momentum you feel when you turn the pieces, I'm just not personally a fan of, but it's still not a bad cube. I'm gonna give it a C. So now we've got the Hudong. I really enjoyed this puzzle when it came out. It's a good cube, and I do enjoy it. I just don't think it's gonna gain like general popularity. And it corner twists pretty easy. That was an issue that I had with it when we first started using it. So I'm gonna put it in B with the Guhong Pro. I just think it's a little heavy and the corner twisting is an issue. Then we've got the RS3 V5. As far as budget cubes go, I don't think there's a better puzzle out there. It's not premium, so you don't get the super lightweight, highly adjustable puzzle. But as far as the mech goes and the price, it's an S tier cube. Let's see, so next we've got the Super WeiLong V2. Oh man, I hate how much I love this puzzle because it's $80. I think it's the best 3x3 on the market right now. I'm so conflicted because it's an S cube for sure. Well, I guess that answers my question. It doesn't matter if it was $150, it's an S tier cube. Now we've got the Tornado V3. It has a really like almost tight or controllable feel. It might just be the way this one's set up, but I also remember that from mine. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of room in the cube, but performance is obviously good. It set a world record. I'm gonna give it an A. And now the TV4. I like the cube, but it didn't feel like much of an upgrade when it released. But you know, with the success of the Tornado V3, it makes sense that they wouldn't go far from that design. So I'll give it the same score as the Tornado V3, but I want to put it one lower. I'm going to leave it at A though. All right, so now we have the WeiLong V10 Ferrocore. This is a recent release, collaboration with Cubehead. As far as V10s go, I think this is probably the best one you can get. The core is definitely more stable, less issues, and yeah, just overall I think it's a really good cube. I think it's better than the Tornado V3 and the Tornado V4. I don't know if it's better than the GAN 12, so I'm going to give it an A. Okay, so now WeiLong V10. As I said, the previous cube, this is a great puzzle. There are some core issues with it, right? So there's some breaking issues or things like that. So it's not a perfect cube. I just used a version of this puzzle to get an average that I feel like I didn't deserve. But I got a pure sub 15 average at a competition when I hadn't competed in like 2 years. So I have to give it an S? No, I'll give it an A. If the cube itself was an S, the ferrocore would be an S. We'll leave it in an A. All right, so now onto the WeiLong V9. This is an Olar cube version of the puzzle. I really like this cube. It honestly reminds me of the Super V1 because it's so solid feeling. Everything just feels like one piece as opposed to having like the airy feeling of some of the newer cubes. I definitely think the V10 was an upgrade though. I'm going to give this a B. All right, so now on to the XT3. So this is essentially a Tornado V3, but they just removed some features and it's lighter. It just feels better in my, like, I don't know why I like this more than the V3 and the V4. So I think again, it's an A tier cube, but I'm going to put it above the V3 and V4, but below the WeiLong V10 and ferrocore. So now the Zhanchi V5. I remember when this cube released, everybody was really excited about it, but then it's like everybody just kind of moved on. Everybody was excited about it. They said the performance is great, and it's not bad. It feels pretty good. Yeah, Diane doesn't really do much promotion or sponsorship, so I think that's where they're falling behind. Because a puzzle like this should definitely get more attention. I'm going to give it a B, so I'm not helping with the attention, but somebody should. All right, so now we've got the YJ Mystery 3x3. I really like this cube. I think it's a bit heavy. So the one that I've been using, I took some magnets out of and capsules, and it lightened the puzzle. It gave it a weird hollow sound and feel, but to me, performance was better. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good cube, but looking at the list, I'll put it above the Guhong Pro, but below flagship puzzles like the TV4 and WeiLong V10. All right, so there's my list. It looks like I'm a bit of an optimist. Nothing got a D or an F. Yeah, I don't see any issues. That's my list. So let's see what everybody else thinks.
All right, hey guys, so I'm gonna see which of these cubes I hate the least. Start with the GAN 12. A lot of people still consider this the best GAN cube. I think the 15 is a slight improvement. Torn between giving it an A and a B. I'll put it in B for now. I'm probably gonna change that though. And yes, the 15. So I'm actually a huge fan of the 15, but with the spring mod installed, I can actually get really good blind times with it, which like has never been a thing with GAN cubes. I'll put that in the A. And it's cheaper than most GAN cubes flagships have been, right? All right, so next is the Guhong Pro. To be honest, I don't even know why this is in here. I don't like it. The price is good. Anything under 20 bucks that feels like this is solid. So I'm just gonna put it in C. Okay, the TG. So this is an interesting cube because I actually forgot its existence for a while. I tried one the other day and was like, oh, this is really good. But trying this now, not the biggest fan. How much is this one?
It starts at 40, ends at 65.
Okay, yeah, I don't know the price for anything. So that's pretty pricey for how it feels. I've got like one in everything so far. It's a D. Yeah, because I liked how the Guhong felt more, and it's like, what, over half the price, so that's fair. All right, the Hudong. Steven's gonna hate me for this. I can't stand the Hudong. Like, it just seems so uncontrollable. I don't know, you have to tighten it a lot out of the box. I think I prefer it with the LVL magnet mod installed, but yeah, I don't know. It's probably the flexiest cube I've ever felt. Does it belong with the TG? Yes, it does. Sorry, Steven. Hudong goes a D. All right, the V5. I love the V5. The only problem is that the pieces can sometimes break. Oh, this one's actually cracked, isn't it? I prefer like the standard version and like the dual adjustment. Like for multi-blind, I've actually considered switching to it. So I think this is gonna be my first S. I might put it back down to A. I'm not sure yet. All right, Super WeiLong V2. I've only tried this a few times. Oh yeah, that's really good. I remember this first came, we were all disappointed, but it broke in really nicely. I have a feeling I'd main this if I cared about 3x3. So let's put that in S. Actually, how much is it?
$82.
That'll affect things. Okay, let's put it in A. Now the Tornado V3. I was actually thinking earlier, I couldn't remember if I set my PR with this or a V2.
I'm pretty sure my PR averages with this. Yeah, I swear this cube got worse over time. I don't know what they changed about it. It almost feels like it's too tight now. I don't know if that's just me. I'd much rather do an average than GAN 12, so I'll put it in C. Now, the V4, that I think I'll put in B. I actually like the V4. It kind of feels like how I remember the V3 feeling when it first came out. It just feels faster and lighter. I actually like the Pioneer more, but I'm gonna put that in B. It's a pretty even list so far. Oh, and this is actually probably another S. I really like the Ferrocore. At first, I wasn't a fan, and then I found Stevens on his desk the other day, and I just started doing solves and lost track of time, which is always a good sign that it's a really good cube. Cool logo design. I really like the gray color. It's really cool. So I'm gonna put that in S. And I just like the V10 in general. So last 5 here, the V10. For some reason, the Ferrocore feels more controllable.
It has a spring, so it makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Oh, is this a maglev one? Yeah. I prefer springs, so yeah, I'll put this in A. Okay, and the V9. I actually have a V9 on my desk that I really like. I did consider the base version of this puzzle for multi, but I never ended up switching. Yeah, it's up there with the V10 for me. I actually might even like the V9 more, but I'm still just gonna put it in A. All right, so the XT3. To be honest, I don't have much experience with this cube. Really fast. I like it more in the V3, but not more in the V4. Put it in C. All right, Zanchi V5, another Diane cube that I don't know why it's in here. Sorry. Stop trashing on Diane cubes. I don't know. Diane 3x3s, they've been good, but I don't consider them good enough. You know, they haven't really been good since I've been good. I think they should stick to Mega Mixes, but I don't know. This is unique. I like the green. Yeah, I don't like it. Put it in D. Okay, and the YJ Mystery 3x3. I love this cube. If it's low 20, like we suspect it's going to be, I might even consider this for multi. We'll see. I really like that one. All right, so it's between the Hudong, the TG, and the Zanchi V5 for an F. Sorry, Steven.
What?
You know what? I'll put the TG in there too. It's also bad. Yeah, so there's my list.
Another year, another tier list. Hey everyone, it's time to clown on GAN once again. So let's get started with a GAN.
Turning really well.
Yeah, because the GAN 12 is actually a really good cube. You know, unlike the other GAN cubes that have been a little bit disappointing. So GAN 12 is not an A from me, but it will be a solid B. Another GAN for my displeasure. Okay, it's not really that bad. It's like a hit or miss for the GAN 15 for me. Out of the box, I just don't like it. But ones that have been lubed, set up, used a bunch of times, and ones that I don't own, they always feel a little bit better. This also goes in B tier for me. Guhong Pro. So gives me old school Guhong vibes, which I really, really enjoy. The adjustment features on it, it's really easy to use. So for ease of use and general performance, this also equally gets a solid B to me. I think there's a lot of better options other than it at the moment. Is the Huameng TG. This appeals to a very, very specific set of people that enjoy heavy turning blockiness with a lot of momentum. I'm not one of those, so sorry, that is an instant D tier for me. And finally, the cube that I have been looking forward to is just the Hudong. It is just a really good cube. I think you should get the Hudong. That's it. That is going to be an A tier for me. This looks like a V5 with a chipped corner.
It is.
Very typical of a V5. Overall, it is actually a really great cube as long as you don't drop it. I'm not even gonna bother turning it. That is actually going to be S tier for me. What is this? Super WeiLong V2? It is an overpriced mess, but it's actually a really great cube. I don't think it's any better than the V10, but if you like burning money and you like a fancy super in front of the name of the cube, I think it's pretty worth it. Drag your butt over to B tier. I'm only ranking it B because of its price to performance. I think you have a much better option with the V10 if you like something that feels really, really similar. All right, next cube, the good old V3. Tornado. I'm a big fan of the Tornado V3. I think people who have issues with the Tornado V3 are just not treating their cube properly. With enough break-in and proper setup, and with a lot of care, your V3s are probably some of the best cubes in the market right now. This actually will get me a solid A tier. Tornado V4. If you have a V3, I don't think you need a Tornado V4, especially if you have a V3 that you like. If you have a V3 that's broken, get a V4, but if your V3 is still good, there's no reason to get this puzzle. That's gonna go in C tier for me. Next up, we have product placement for the Ferrocore V10. I personally didn't think that there was a lot of issues with the V10 in general, other than that it was not nearly as flexible. But then customer service proved me wrong because everyone seems to break their cores. So yeah, that's why we ended up selling V10 cores on this site. This fixes that. So this gets an immediate S tier because no broken cores. And it's not UV, so you can't possibly chip your corners by dropping it on the white side because you only do white cross. And the V10. Again, I have no problems with this cube other than like it doesn't feel flexible enough for my taste. But I'm just gonna go ahead and also rank this in S tier only because I am Moyu fanboy. WeiLong V9. Still probably one of my favorite cubes of all time. To me, it feels right. It has the right amount of flexibility, the right amount of stability. The magnets feel great. Everything about it is just ideal to me. So that is gonna get solid S tier. Oh look, Moyu cubes in S tier again. The XT3 kind of shares the same profile as like Tornado cubes. So if you're looking for a more budget-conscious Tornado, I think this is a great choice. And it does away with a lot of customization features that will eventually break down on you. So highly recommend it. Also, it comes with screws and a traditional core instead of their silly little system that tends to, the levers on them break. So more robust in that sense. Highly recommend. That gets a solid A from me. I feel like there are so many other options other than this cube. And if you want to support Diane, pick up a Guhong Pro. Yeah, it's a cool cube with a lot of novel features. It's just not the features for me. C tier. And this mysterious YJ cube, not knowing anything about it, and I'm basing it just on feel, is actually an immediate A tier for me. It just feels like a really solid feeling puzzle, has the right amount of flex, great magnets on there for what it is. And I think it'll please a lot of intermediate solvers and then maybe even like impress some people who are very, very fast. So yeah, that goes to A tier for me. And that is my tier list. The only tiers that are present are the ones coming from my eyes at the lack of really good Moyu cubes.
Alright, hey guys, it's Chris. I just started working here not that long ago, and I might not be here for that much longer, but yeah, let's get into these cubes. Starting with the GAN 12. I think this is GAN's best 3x3 still. The 15 I think came close, but I don't think it's as good as the 12. It's still GAN's best 3x3 in my opinion, so I'll give it an A. Alright, so the GAN 15, I don't like this as much as the 12. I really wanted to like it. I don't know, just something about it. I was catching and locking up more than on the 12 with this cube, and like I popped a couple times, which I don't know, that shouldn't happen. But it comes close to the 12 in performance for me, but not quite, so I'll give it a B. But it would be like a high B, so it'd be like a B+ or something if we were doing that. So Guhong Pro, I don't like this cube. It's objectively, I think, pretty solid for a 3x3, especially at its price. You also get the benefit of 54, 55, and 56 sizes. I think it's pretty solid, but I don't know. Overall, I think it's not very good, so I'll give it a C for now, but I might move it up. Huaming TG. I know other people have not liked this cube very much. I main it, so I'm probably going to give this a higher rating than most people. This cube caters to a very specific turning style that I happen to have, but not very many people do. So it's kind of hard for me to give this an objective rating. For most people, I think this cube is not, I think there's better options, especially at the price. Yeah, I think objectively, it can't be an A tier, even though I main it. I think I'll give it a B. All right, Hudong. I don't like it. I like the LBL core mod a little more than the stock one. Yeah, I don't know. The cube is just too flexible for me. I don't know. Something about it, I just don't like it. So I'm going to give it a D tier. RS3V5. Yeah, so for $25, I mean, this is like infinitely better than the Guhong Pro, in my opinion. You can also get the dual adjustment spring one for $10, which is a good budget cube and good for multi and things like that. So yeah, for this, it's between A and S tier for me, and yeah, I think it'll go in S. All things considered for the price, it's really good. The only issue I think is the pieces breaking occasionally, but you know, just be careful with it and don't drop it. Right. Super WeiLong V2. So yeah, I really like this cube. I'm considering switching to it as my main from the TG. Yeah, it's just really good. I don't know what else to say. The only knock on it is the $82 price tag. And I think for that alone, I can't give it an S just out of principle, because I don't think any cube should be that expensive. So yeah, I'll put it in A. I'll put it above the GAN 12. So the Tornado V3, this cube was pretty popular when it came out, but I never really liked it that much. I remember liking the V2 more than this actually, but that's not in this list, so I don't know. It's a good cube, it set a world record. A lot of people used it when it came out, so objectively it's good. I don't like it that much though, so I think it'll go in C above the Guhong Pro for now. All right, so for the Tornado V4, I don't really like this either because it doesn't feel that much different from a Tornado V3. I also haven't played around with it that much. It feels more like a Tornado V3.1 than a Tornado V4. I expected for Chi to do more, but I guess the V3 was successful enough that they didn't have to change much. The V3 and V4 are pretty similar, so I'll put the V4 in C as well, just above the V3. The WeiLong V10 Ferrocore. So I used the V10 as my main for a while, and the Ferrocore is just a more flexible V10, which I personally don't like as much. I prefer the blockier feeling of the V10, but I mean, that's just a personal opinion, and objectively this cube is very good. It's as good as the V10. It's hard to say whether one is objectively better than the other. But yeah, I think I'll end up putting them both in the same tier, but yeah, V10 Ferrocore is very good, so I'll give it an A. Yeah, probably above the GAN 12 as well. All right, so regular WeiLong V10. So yeah, I mean, this one's maglev, so it's like way too uncontrollable, but the spring version of the V10 is good. And yeah, I used it as my main for a while, so it's as good as the Ferrocore. I prefer it over the Ferrocore, but I know a lot of people will prefer the Ferrocore over the V10. It's just a personal thing of whether you prefer a more flexible cube. So I'll give it the same rating as the Ferrocore. I'll give the Ferrocore higher. WeiLong V9. This cube is pretty good. I mean, I think the only thing with this is that it's a bit old at this point. I think other cubes are just better than it now, but this isn't a bad cube, and it's still a very good cube. I liked it a lot when it came out, and I like this one too, so I like it more than the Tornadoes and the Guhong, so I'll put it in B tier, mid B. X-Man XT3. This cube is just a stripped down Tornado V3. The Tornado V3 and V4 are all really similar, to the point where I'm not sure why like all three exist. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is essentially a Tornado V3, but a lot cheaper. I just can't get over how similar it is to a Tornado V3, because I remember I tried a prototype of this at a comp, and I thought I was turning a Tornado V3 until I was told it wasn't. So I'll give it a B just because it's cheaper than the Tornadoes. The Zanchi V5, I also don't like. The tech is cool with like the center cap magnets in one of the higher versions, but it's cool tech, but like the cube just doesn't perform very well, I think. There's so many better cubes for this price or cheaper. I don't know. It's getting a D and maybe an F. And lastly, the YJ Mystery Cube. I like this cube a lot. It's nice to see YJ actually make a usable 3x3, unlike their last two. The center caps are interesting on here. I feel like they bother me a little bit in solves, but I don't know. That could just be something to get used to, but we suspect it'll be around $20 or so. At that price point, I'm almost tempted to give it an S tier, but it's not released yet, so things could still change. Yeah, I'll give it an A, but I'll probably also move things around on this list. I want to put something in F tier just for the sake of having the list be balanced. Honestly, the Guhong Pro goes in D tier as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to give the Zanchi V5 an F tier. It's too expensive for a cube that's not very good. I think this list is fine as is. I think I'll honestly move the GAN 12 down to B just because it's getting a little old. But yeah, I think other than that, this list is pretty solid. If the Super WeiLong V2 was anything less than $82, if it was reasonably priced, it would be an easy S tier, but it's not, so it's staying there. So yeah,